Hi there, welcome back to another update from my large-scale Killa Kan project. I mentioned last time I was filling up the majority of the space in each of the segments with some pieces of balsa wood. This meant less filler was needed and therefore less weight. As you can see, I've since added the P38 car body filler and sanded a radius to match the plastic uprights. The main focus of this update will be construction of the hinge for the hatch. Here's how it looks on the Games Workshop model. I decided the hinge would lend itself to being made with two sizes of evergreen styrene tubing. This has the useful property that every other diameter telescopes. Here you can see that the 5.5mm fits inside the 7.1mm tube. I cut three sections of the 7.1mm tube and glued them to a piece of 2mm plastic card in which I had filed a circular groove. The slightly wider central section was attached to the top of the can body, and the two narrower sections, which have longer tabs of the 2mm plastic, were attached to the hatch itself. I've also added some plastic strips above the tabs to strengthen the connection to the hatch. I felt the join between the tube and the tabs on the hatch was a bit too weak, considering they would be taking the brunt of the load. I therefore added a vertical piece to reinforce the join. I then filled in the remaining space around the hinge and sanded it to shape. It was a lot trickier to get a nice radius with the hinge in the way. A section of 5.5mm tube, which was capped at either end, was then used to create the pin for the hinge and act as the pivot. I'll most likely be gluing the pin at each end eventually, but for now I'll leave it removable so I can continue working on the hatch separately. Here you can see I've drilled the 9 small holes into the plastic uprights as per the original model. I've also drilled the hole in the centre of the hatch and added a tube collar to support the wheel for the locking mechanism. I decided to add some thin plastic strip around the circumference of the hatch to give it a bit more overlap between the hatch and the lip that it sits on. There is a little more play in the pivot than I expected, due to the fit of one tube inside the other being slightly loose. But overall I think the hinge works well, and crucially it lines up with the hatch hole. Well, that's all for this update. Thanks for watching.